Hey guys, so to start off this look, I'm going to start off with Under Eye Corrector and apply this everywhere on my skin that has dark circles or discoloration, anything that's kind of darker than my skin tone. So the orangey tone from this product will actually not just conceal it but correct or neutralize the area. So these dark circles and scars on my face have like a blue undertone. So the orange in the product help to neutralize the blue undertone. So it kind of the end result is that it kind of takes the color out instead of just covering it up like regular concealer does. So that's why I use this product as close to the skin as possible, and I just go in and spot and put it in certain areas, almost like spot correct. Once I put on my foundation, which I'm doing right now, you will not see this, the color correction. So it's okay that it looks ashy. So now I'm going to apply foundation all over my skin, and then I'm going to blend it out with my beauty sponge. And I actually regret doing this, and that's because when I use my beauty sponge in order to blend out my foundation, I end up getting a heavier coverage. I don't want a heavier coverage at this stage because I'm going to be putting powders and concealer and stuff like that on top of it. And if I have maximum coverage, when I just have that one layer of foundation, the end result ends up in kind of like cakey makeup or heavier makeup, and that's actually what the result was at the end. And I think that heavier makeup has a place, but I wasn't necessarily intending to go in that direction, but I did end up there. I had a little bit of a heavy hand this day when I was doing my makeup, but and to correct it, I would probably just I can't really take off any of the makeup right now, but you know, in future I would use less foundation, blend it out very sheer, or use a brush. Now I'm going to apply a lighter concealer underneath my eye and apply it down along the top of my cheek. And this is a way that I'm highlighting, not necessarily contouring, but just highlighting. This is kind of like an everyday makeup look. Well, it's a little bit more full coverage than I intended it to be, but it is kind of supposed to be an everyday look. And on an everyday look, I'm not necessarily going to do highlighting contour, but I am going to do a little highlighting just because, you know, I like the way it looks on my face specifically, but typically I might be taking a picture or video or something like that, and I like the way that it looks on video and camera. So just kind of my little trick to stay camera ready. After blending out that concealer, I'm going to set it with some setting powder so it won't go anywhere. And never brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot. Now moving on to brows, I'm going to use the eyeliner and eyebrow brush. This brush is so good for doing both your like the brow for precision, but also blending it out. So right here I'm using an eyeshadow color, a matte brown eyeshadow in the head of my brow, and I'm doing this in kind of short strokes, and I'm going back and forth throughout the brow because I'm actually coloring the skin behind the brow. Doing this just kind of helps to give the brow the appearance that it's fuller than it naturally is. So I go through and kind of in all directions fill in the head of my brow, but then I use the spoolie part, the actual eyebrow portion of the brush, to blend out, to comb the hairs after I've applied it, but this also helps to blend out the eyeshadow so that it's evenly distributed. Now with the tail of my brush, for a little bit of precision, I'm using a volumizing brow tint, and I'm using the angle portion of the same brush and just going through the brow. So I just tap on the wand of the volumizing brow tint and draw this on the tail of my brush, blending it to the head of my brush. Once that brow tint dries on my skin, then I'm going to go back to the spoolie part of the brush and blend in the eyeshadow with the tint portion. Now with my cream color brush, I'm going to use this Creme-To-Powder foundation and apply this to the outer 2/3 of my eyelid. I'm going to carve out that arch and then blend it down towards my eyeball. Then with my finger, I'm going to tap it on to blend out the color. I like using this Creme-To-Powder foundation because other than my real other foundation, because it has a slightly heavier coverage. So if I miss a couple of appointments to, get my brows cleaned up, it will cover it right up, and then it also dries to a matte finish. So it's almost like applying concealer, but it dries down to a powder finish. So it's almost precision eyeshadow. So I really like this to use it, and because I'm only using it in this small area, it lasts a very long time. The product does. Now that my brows are done, they are kind of giving me the framework for what I'm going to do for the rest of the eye. So with the rest of the eye, I'm going to start at my bottom or lower lid and apply eye primer in that area and just kind of blend it out and up with my ring finger. I'm using this eye primer because whatever I put on top of it is going to intensify the color of the eyeshadow. Not only that, but it also gives some grab for the eyeshadow to sit on. I call it kind of, eyeshadow Velcro. It just gives the eyeshadow something to adhere to so that it doesn't crease and kind of fly away throughout the day. Now with this crease brush, it's a little different than a lot of other crease brushes out there. This one is an angle. So in order to blend out my crease color that I'm putting on there, which is a matte brown, it's actually my contour color, you guys. I like to do little hacks like that just so that I'm not using as much product. I'm always going to be using my contour color. So I use my contour color as an eyeshadow or an eye contour. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the brush up in, so that the angle is facing up and down, and I'm lightly dragging it on the top portion of my eyelid. I especially like to do this trick if I know I'm going to be on a zoom. It just makes my eyes appear a little bit larger and a little bit more pronounced. If I do nothing else and I just throw on some mascara, I'm good to go with just doing this one little trick. Now with my all over eyeshadow brush, I changed my brush. I'm going to use the bed of the brush in order to press Biscotti eyeshadow all over my lower eyelid to meet that brown matte eyeshadow that I applied on top. Once most of the product is off of the brush, I'm going to go to the corner of the eyeshadows where the two meet and blend it out. I wanted the color a little bit more pigmented, so I decided to apply some eye primer gently on top of that eyeshadow and proceeded to apply more color on top of that by pressing the color onto the eye primer. Going back to the crease brush, I'm going to use a darker eyeshadow in this area because I was originally going to use the same color eyeshadow or contour color that I used before, but it just didn't show up. I opted to go for a darker brown eyeshadow and apply this only to the outer third of my eye. Now this time, because I want a little bit more intensity on that outer corner, I'm going to switch my brush and use it horizontally and going into the crease. So I'm turning the brush so that the angle is angled left to right, and then applying that into my crease. So the same brush can give different applications. When I hold it up and down, it gives kind of a softer blended look. But when I hold it on its side and apply color with the bristles kind of like laying flat, then it gives a very defined, intense color application. I know we're acting stupid. Now going back to the all over eye color brush, between that dark brown color and that light Biscotti eyeshadow, I'm going to apply this rustic shimmer eyeshadow right in between those two colors so that it kind of blends the colors together. But not only that, it gives a little bit of texture and change to the look as well. Now with my pinky anchored to my face, I'm going to use that same eyeliner brush that I used for my brows by dipping it into some gel black eyeliner and slowly but surely making small dashes along my eyeline to connect the black eyeliner in order to make a very sultry, clean eyeline. Before I finish anything else, I'm going to now apply powder, face powder that matches my skin all over my face. Maybe just a little bit foolish, but I feel so young. Just go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if we're done. It's the only way we know how to do it. I feel so young. I know we're... To give a softer definition for my bottom eyeline, I'm going to apply this brown eyeliner. Not only do I apply it in the waterline, but I also apply it underneath the lashes, only on the outer fourth of the eye, just to give a little bit of a rounder eye look. Now I'm going to do bottom mascara, and I am going to be super careful with this, you guys, to not touch it to my eye, because the second I touch this black mascara to my eyelid, then it just looks like I have on black eyeliner. But I do that by using a different mascara, one with very precise combed bristles, so that it will really touch my lashes without having to go very close to my actual lash line. Now I'm going to go back to that contour powder, the one that I used in my eye, you guys, and I'm going to take my blush brush and apply this to the socket of my cheeks and along my hairline. I'm going to wipe off that same brush and apply this golden copper cheek color to my cheeks, just along my cheekbones. And I love this color because it gives kind of like this bronzy, glowy look, even on my dark skin tone. I think it really, really complements the earth tone in my eyes and what's eventually going to be the earth tones in my lips as well. Go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if we don't. It's the only way we know how to do it. Now for the lips, I'm going to apply a lip liner that is close to my skin tone, and this is in the color Deep Nude, and I'm going to apply this on most of my lip line, most of my lip, starting at my lip line, and then I'm going to blend it in by using my finger. So it just kind of stains my lip a little bit instead of just sitting on top of my lip. It's just kind of use it as a lip stain. And then I'm going to go over it with this dark chocolate lip liner and do the same thing with my finger and kind of blend it out and smear it so that it turns into more of a lip stain than a lip liner, and also ends up blending into each other. So this technique kind of creates a natural ombre effect on the lips, and it kind of creates its own lip color. So I think this is going to be my neutral, natural lip from now on. Maybe just a little bit foolish. Just go a little crazy and lose it. And then I'm going to finish this look with a little bit of gloss on top. Maybe just a little bit foolish. I feel so young.
I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, floating somewhere up in the clouds. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real. Cause when we're doing our thing, we're the wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, trip, trip now.